This podcast is brought to you by Revival, Book 1 of the Unveiled book series.
As far back as I can remember, I have wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, I am here to guide you through the intricate paths of building your business, embracing emerging technologies and navigating the startup world. I am Saul, and this is Startup Corps, your go-to podcast for entrepreneurial insights and tech-driven success. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Startup Corps, your podcast for entrepreneurs and innovation. We're here today with Ola Litkova. She's an entrepreneur, actually very successful, living here in Miami. As you can see, the trend is that I'm interviewing many people from Miami. And I'm very proud to have her here because I love to have female entrepreneurs. So welcome, Ola. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you for having me. It's interesting how, you mentioned that females started to be interested in entrepreneurship and especially in technology startups. Thank you for having me, and let's have a fun conversation.
Fantastic. Why don't you start telling us a little bit about you, a little bit about your entrepreneurship journey?
Sure, absolutely. I don't know. I think entrepreneurship journey is starting when you realize that you have this drive, that passion, and that's probably happening pretty early in your age. Whenever you are feeling that you are interested in to create something, innovate something, have teams together. So it happened to me pretty early. I was fortunate to be involved in a lot of entertainment projects, and after that, first company that I opened probably was the entertainment performance art school for children. I was 22 or 23 at that moment, and I had a partner who was a choreographer and another partner who was a film director. So we united our skill sets, we united our networking, and we opened the school for children. The interesting story about the school was that for the opening, we invited all our friends who were actually bands and singers and choreographers who were, people from the television, right? So kids and parents who came to the opening of the school, they were fascinated by seeing those stars that easily shaking hands, taking pictures. So I guess the mixture of making business and making business fun. This is what attracted me from that time, and this is what brought me afterwards to build a company that is called Coco Studio, where different creative services, design services, branding, filming, production, all that was under one roof. So that was the second company that I opened.
Okay, but hold on. Before we go to the third one, hold on. Let me go back to the first one. What country was this on?
My first, you mean what country did I open the
Yes.
art school? Yes, art school I opened in Kyiv, in the capital of Ukraine, and it happened like pretty long time ago.
Which is where you're from, right?
Yes, that's exactly where I'm from. I'm from Ukraine. I was born and raised in south of Ukraine. And whenever I turned 16, 17, I moved to the capital and started studying journalism and started studying management and entertainment business. And this is where actually, all the entrepreneurship started for me.
And I'm aware that you have a master's in arts. And so this is very interesting. Please tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I have my master's degree in management of entertainment business, and I have my bachelor degree in journalism.
Fantastic. You have 15 years of experience doing filming, production, photography, and many things. So quite an impressive career, to be honest. Very, very honored to be here with you today.
Thank you.
So now let's talk about the third company, which is the one we talked about when we first met, I think.
Yes, perfect.
YES.fun, right?
Yes.fun is a startup.
Mhm.
So when you're asking about entrepreneurship in general, I think the answer over there is it's in your blood. And when you feel it, when you are kind of moving forward with your guts, with your feelings, with your ideas, this is what called entrepreneurship. So this company that you are asking about, YES.fun, it's a gamified mixed reality storytelling for children. This is a very complex platform that we're building, and it consists of two major components. One is exploration for children, so with use case of augmented reality and extended reality, different worlds appears in front of the children, and they play different game mechanics with those games. That's the first component, exploration. There's a second component that is creating stories. So kids are creating stories, and they are attached to their inner calling. They are expressing their talents through the storytelling format. That is the second component on the platform. And the third component is UGC, which is actually allowing other children to enjoy what was created by the users of the platform. So that's pretty much what YES.fun is.
Okay, and how much of the first company and the second company, what lessons you took forward to the third company, to YES.fun? Did something shift from one to another? All the lessons learned from one, all the do this thing or don't do this. How was
Mhm.
the transfer there?
Oh, absolutely. Every time we create something, we make mistakes, and that's exactly the idea of what it is innovation and what it is just moving forward with the idea that you have or business that you have. And the lesson that I've learned, first of all, it's very important to have a team that can trust each other, team that can unite and make right decisions or make mistakes, regroup and move forward. And that's probably the first and biggest lesson. You have to have people who are having the same passion, first of all. Second, people who you can trust. And third, the people who can quickly change and pivot in the situation when a critical decision needs to be made. That's probably first. And the second one, especially when you're an entrepreneur in a startup nature and you are inventing something, I think it's very important to trust your guts, because you are the person who created that idea. You are the one who is envisioning in and moving forward. And of course, you have to have people who you ask advice. You have to have people who've been in your place as a CEO or CEO or investors or partners. But at the same time, gathering all that information, processing it. This is you who created this, so listen to your guts. That's probably those two very important ones.
Gut feeling is something that many people don't understand it. They hear it for sure, but they don't pay attention to it. And from lessons of my life as an entrepreneur, I should have listened more. Definitely, I would have made less mistakes, especially trusting people with funds, trusting people with things that I shouldn't have. So that's pretty amazing. Another thing that entrepreneurs don't take into account is sometimes they don't follow through with the mistakes. And in project management we have something called lessons learned, and that's a document that we always do at the end of every single project. But with the entrepreneurship, you pivot so fast, and the faster you pivot, the faster you get into the real a solution of the real problem that you actually have. So that's pretty amazing. So about the lessons learned, if you don't mind, if you can share something like one mistake you did, something that will help entrepreneurs don't fall into the same mistake, and how you pivot, how you solve it, what you learn from it.
Yeah, I think it's very individual. As I told you, we are all inventing something or creating some kind of structure or some kind of, let's say, algorithm that we are following. And this is what exactly becoming a business model. And I think I love this saying that you just articulated, lesson learned. It's every time your own lesson, right? So for instance, in my situation, I think that building a startup nature is much more important than building a corporate nature, because a startup is a very agile mindset, right? So you kind of pivot very often. You make decisions that are affecting the future of the product. So what I've probably learned is very important to first build the product and then build a corporate structure.
About building the product. So, of course, everything that you at the first company wasn't so technological, but this one it is. So, who you trust with your development as part of your team? Who's the CTO? Are you the CTO as well? Who's on the developing side?
Yes, very good question. So I've had a very talented group, and we're still working with them, partially from Ukraine, partially from Germany and Estonia. And right now we're involving people from Los Angeles, people who worked with big corporations like Roblox, people who worked with companies like Fortnite. So that experience for the gamification is very important to have at a stage where we are. So we experimented, we did the prototype. We know we've learned a lot of mistakes from the feature development for the application, from the standpoint of game mechanics that we used. And right now we are at a point where we want to expand the team, and we want to make the gamification piece very robust. And this is how we are hiring experts from the industry to advance the prototype that we are making.
I really like to hear about Ukrainian developers because I did have a fantastic experience for over 8 years of constant dealing with pretty advanced smart contracts, blockchainization, digitalization of assets, many things, and they were fantastic. On the graphic design, fantastic. Coding, architecture, databases, fantastic people in Ukraine. Really, really, I'm very impressed. I'm not easy to impress with all those things. So tell me. So you live a little bit in Los Angeles, and tell me what you learn from that environment, because of course we know what's happening in Los Angeles is pretty close to Silicon Valley. The investors are in Los Angeles. So please tell us a little bit about how is the ecosystem there.
Yes, so I will not be very vocal about the Los Angeles ecosystem on the startup, because at the moment when I lived there, I owned a video production company. So we were concentrated and specializing more in producing films, music videos, commercials. And actually, this is how I moved from Los Angeles to Florida, because our company was acquired by a startup entity. So they created Uber for private aviation, and they offered us to become in-house production company for them. So we could, portray the whole business model for the customers, show how the platform works, how the application works. And this is probably was the first touch for me with a startup nature and building application, knowing what CTO responsibilities are, what is standing behind the back end, the front end, who are designers, who are the people engineers behind it. So analytics and all that jazz. So to answer you about the ecosystem, at that moment when I lived there, I wasn't so involved in that nature. But after I started my startup, which is YES.fun, I started traveling a lot, because our C-level, our game designer, our product, our technical lead, all of them, and actually my partners as well as my investors, all of them are in Silicon Valley or in Los Angeles. So every other month I would go there, and still going and meeting the team, meeting our partners. It's quite an ecosystem over there. Of course, all the innovations, all the craziest ideas are coming from there.
So coming from Jason Calacanis and his book Angel, he basically says if you have a startup, do it in Silicon Valley. Do you agree with that?
Actually, recently where we met with you, it was a beautiful dinner organized by one of the venture capital groups and Silicon Valley Bank. And what they are doing, they're making those type of events all over the places, especially in New York, in Miami. And this ecosystem over here is growing. And I can agree with the saying that make it in the Silicon Valley. But again, coming back to your question, to your experience with Ukrainian engineers and Ukrainian teams, you can build startup anywhere. Actually, it's just a matter of putting team together with the technology that exists right now. We can make it, remote. So I think it's a good idea to be where the whole ecosystem grows and everyone is engineer, everyone is startupper, everyone is a venture capital investor. Absolutely, it's good to be in this type of environment. But if you have an idea and you live in Florida or let's say in Poland or England, why not doing it where you are?
The veil between her world and the other realm has faded, unleashing magic into the lives of ordinary citizens. Awakening from a 4-year coma, Tori James discovers a world transformed. For some, like Tori, the unveiling ignites hidden abilities. With her expertise in classical languages, she's drawn into a world of thieves and magic. Join Tori on her magical journey in Book 1 of the Unveiled book series, Revival. Unveil your destiny.
Well, one thing that I have to mention that Silicon Valley Bank is made for entrepreneurs. Yeah, I didn't know this, and I've been so long in this industry. And when I realized, wow, Silicon Valley Bank is calling me, when I will ever get a call from my bank that is not for something that I don't want. Yeah,
Yes,
and
exactly.
these people really help entrepreneurs. They basically only approve you if you're a startup, and they love to support you now and get you to the levels until you are big. And at some point, well, I'm very grateful for them actually. So the other thing, so what I would like to see on the startup ecosystem here in Miami is a combination, because if there are only developers, great, but you're missing the strategy. If you have somebody with the strategy, you're missing somebody with the money or the talent or the government support, which I believe Miami is supporting startups up and down, left and right. It is unbelievable the amount of events that they're launching, all with TV news, with all the media that we really need as entrepreneurs to be out there. This is part of the reason we do this podcast, is to put entrepreneurs I admire, to give them some coverage, give them some support, and definitely help the other entrepreneurs to be part of this ecosystem. There's so many people in the leading edge of, should I do it? Should I not do it? I'm afraid, I don't want to leave my job. And and that's a question that I want to raise to you. So there's people that, of course, they may have a skill, they have an idea, but they're still in a job because they have to secure their income. What would you say to those people that are at this point in their life, that they have an amazing idea, they haven't worked it so much, but they know their God is talking to them to do something about it?
Yeah, very good question. I think you need to believe in yourself and trust your guts again. And I would say if you have an idea and you have a work where you have some stability, where you're also growing from the perspective of evolution of a species and evolution of a skill sets, absolutely, you have. It's necessary to stay and grow with the company where you are, but at the same time, um, it's a right thing to do, just to put the team together, to find like-minded individuals who can become either your partners or your future employees, and just little by little start building till the moment you have a solid product that you can test. And whenever you have this prototype or this MVP, this is exactly probably the time when you will be ready to kind of detach from a corporate structure or the structure that gave you stability, and just dive into the be smart, but at the same time be risky. That's what I would summarize with the question.
Developers have this, I believe, this thing that they already developed something, they work so much on it, but it seems like their baby, this piece of code, will never be perfect, and they always say, no, let me work on 1 week, let me work a little bit more, and it goes 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So what would you say to those? I will say to them, go in, launch it, let the people see it. But what would you say? What would you think about that?
I absolutely agree with you. The thing is, being risky and being conscious about your decision, that is one part. But another part, nothing can be perfect. I was partnering with a film director who I worked for more than a decade, and he was that type of creative person who wanted to do better and better and better. So he would spend so much time on improving the same kind of material that he would lose that time and that energy and burn out. So I would say, listen, guys, nothing is perfect. Make a piece, show it to people, have a feedback, improve, because nothing is perfect. I met a gentleman yesterday. He sold his company, a 9-figure company, which was 22 years ago, just a startup. It's a hat that is with some type of lasers and helping people to grow hair on their heads. And that gentleman still improving the product, even though it's been 22 years. He sold his part, and it's a very, very good product on the market that sustained so much years on the market, first of all, and second, helped so many millions of people, right? So it's never ideal. It still has a room for improvement in a design set, and it still has room for improvement in a packaging, I would say, subjectively, but at the same time, it's there, it's working, and it's helping millions of people for sure. So don't perfect, just do it, like Nike.
I would love to invite him in. If you can make the connection, I would love it. And that's the one thing that I say to entrepreneurs, or people that start to be an entrepreneur. I believe I am one of those that I support entrepreneurs just because they are entrepreneurs. They're like my race. They are like my people. That the people that I want to be surrounded with. So many times I don't even charge for advice. Sometimes they don't appreciate advice, but free advice definitely. But the exact same advice I do for certain companies that pay me very well for those. So I really like to help this ecosystem grow. So how long have you been in Miami?
Almost 7 years.
Oh my God, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so
Yes.
far, what do you think? Will you advise entrepreneurs to deep dive coming here? But what do you think will be as an idea for entrepreneurs? Sometimes the people need to get out of their comfort zone and they want to go to the ecosystem that help them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that your question, coming back to your question about Silicon Valley and us talking about the ecosystem here in Miami that is growing, that is with help of Silicon Valley Bank, with help of lots of venture groups who are coming during Tech Week, during the Art Basel, during the summer as well. And to be honest, what I've noticed for the past 2 years, because that's exactly how long I'm doing this YES.fun product, I've noticed that the entrepreneurial environment is growing tremendously. Every week, every day, we have different breakfast with venture groups, evenings with another kind of women in tech. daytimes meeting with Silicon Valley or other bank or other entrepreneurs. So this ecosystem over here, it grows. And if you are feeling that Miami is the place where you want to be, where you want to enjoy the weather as well, absolutely come here. Lots of people, lots of good ideas, and people actually are helping each other like you do, like we mentioned, other individuals. It's really worth it.
One thing that I realized, I've been here almost for 4 years now. All the people after COVID, all the people migrate here. People from Los Angeles, Silicon Valley, all Californians are here. New Yorkers, people from up north, Washington. Many people are coming here because they believe that their tax money are better saving here than wherever they were feeling cold, especially. And here is all warm, sunny, and well, I believe this is a pretty nice ecosystem now, pretty good time. And there's a few things on the strategy is getting along with the people that belong to your environment, to your industry, to have the venture capital, the angels. There's many angels groups here. It's incredible. Like very old ones. So there's not enough mansions in here. They ran out of all the available mansions, all the big football people and sport people. It's unbelievable. So more Lambos, more McLarens, and that kind of big money with social media people as well, which are entrepreneurs. So Ola, I want to ask you about one thing, which is the acquisition. So you were acquired. I know there's a few secrets that you cannot say, but whatever you can share will be very useful for entrepreneurs to understand what's that about, what you learn about it.
What I've learned about acquisition.
Mhm.
This is very. You're right that it's a very personal question from one standpoint. From another standpoint, my company was acquired and it was offered to be in-house production for the reason that every company to be shown to the customer needs to spend a decent amount of money for marketing, a decent amount of money for producing the content. And what I would say to the entrepreneurs who are making startups, that social media and so many tools with AI solution exist on the market. So you can use all that and grow your company to the point where the acquisition becomes a topic, right? Before, all the venture capital groups these days, they're expecting you to have the revenue streams, right? And those revenue streams you have to test out before you are doing any kind of, acquisition costs and everything. So what I would say, make your product, test it out, have the feedback, start generating revenue. And this is where you can talk valuation and acquisitions and everything else.
So I hope you can feel the experience talking here for all the people that are listening to us. So we are in YouTube and every single podcast outlet. So for the people that are listening to us, you can see the video on YouTube as well. Ola, one thing about entrepreneurship is that I would like to a little bit dig into what will you share with entrepreneurs. Well, tell in how will you, if you talk with an entrepreneur that is starting or somebody that is looking to hopefully one day be acquired, how did you find the people that acquired your company? They find you or you find them? Is that a process?
Yeah, I think you were absolutely right that you're building something, you're getting that experience, you're making mistakes, you are iterating, you are pivoting, you are building companies, you are restructuring, and all that happening when you are pre-seed and seed company. From the moment you started generating revenue and you're starting using that revenue for continue building the company, this is where it is obvious and vivid that you are progressing, not only progressing, you have a product. And this is where I think the right idea or the right way to be on the market is when venture capital groups or other individuals, partners notice you, right? And this is how they can make an assumption on those progresses, on those sales points, on those metrics and KPIs that you are achieving. And this is where, they are coming to you probably in
So
ideal
that's
world.
when, so they acquire you when you are at low risk, you are at proven, you are basically need the money to grow.
Yes, absolutely. And
All
this is
right.
where yes, you're looking for supporters who are looking for impactful businesses. And this is not an easy process. But at the same time, you need to keep doing what you're doing. You need to meet people. You need to do pitches. And this is where, people started seeing what the product is and who you are.
When you were on seed stage, you only have an idea. How many pitches you have to do to get the first money in?
I don't know. Some people say you need to do 300. Some people say you need to do 100. But again, every journey is super individual. Every product is super unique. So sometimes you need to make 100 and then you just meet your friend who accidentally is interested in investing. And before that, your friend was not into the startup environment at all, right? So sometimes you're pitching 10 times and on 11 times you meet somebody who has the same idea like yours and you're just uniting all those resources, all those visions, and you are colliding and making one entity that is helping each other from different standpoints, from different resource points. So there is no mathematics or equation behind it. If you know what you are doing, if you are passionate enough, if you have that dedication, which is it's all the time very, very hard to get to the right door. But at the same time, if you have that passion and you have that dedication to knock into one door and then meet other people and then make right moves, wrong moves, you're going to get to the point where people's going to give you first check, second check, and then just be there knocking into your door.
That's right. So these people, the company that does the Uber of private jets, which is pretty interesting. Can you share the name of the company?
The company name was JetSmarter, and it was
Mhm.
acquired by a bigger entity that is called ExoJet.
Oh wow, very interesting. Very interesting. So, Ola, let's go back to YES.fun. I would like to know what stage you are, what are you looking at the moment, a little bit about your team.
Mhm.
Yes, definitely that.
Okay, very nice question. Thank you so much. I love this type of questions. So we were at pre-seed stage a year ago. We raised our first investment and we built a prototype. With this prototype, we experimented a lot. We did lots of decisions on the features. We made lots of decisions on the backend solutions, then all the child privacy policies that we were developing behind it because it's a kids application. So after we were done with the prototype, we tested it. We did moderated testing with customers, and we actually surveyed the parents because we are solving the problem for both, for children from the standpoint be entertained while a little bit educated, and from the parent standpoint, we are solving a problem of passive consumption of content. Kids are constantly scrolling, they're having fun, but they're not learning anything. So the problem for parents that we're solving, it's a meaningful time spent on electronic devices. So with the prototype, we tested it. We made critical decisions on the gamified piece, on the product itself, on the differentiation between game mechanics for different age groups, for different demographics. So so we've learned a lot. Also, what we've learned with our testing that we are not just a B2C solution, but also B2B2C solution. So we started conversations and negotiations with Dell Electronics to implement their products inside of the platform. We are talking to PepsiCo Lab right now to see how it's gonna unveil with a possible partnership or collaboration on that side. So this is where we are right now. Yes, and what we are doing, we are raising a seed round to extend our developers team and to start making marketing solutions for building brand awareness, making more surveys with the parents, teaching them that the platform is not just a game, it's a UGC economy for children, as well
What is
as
UAC? Please spell it out.
user-generated content. So whenever kids are educated, whenever kids are creating something on the platform, they can publish it on the platform so other children can enjoy user-generated content that was created by other users. So that's where we are. Yeah, we are raising a seed round. We are talking partnership deals not only with the brands, but with educational institutions, with sports institutions, with museums as well, because we can bring any type of environment. It's in kids ecosystem or in kids environment, right? So they can travel the world in time and places, and those pieces that they can learn or discover can be from all over the world.
If you can, maybe secret, maybe it's not, what's the deal that you're giving to investors? Because there's people hearing us actively, they're active investors in the small ticket and a little bit more on the VC as well.
Yeah. What's your question?
The deal. What is the valuation? What kind of contract? Are you selling shares? What type of foundation company you have? What type
I
of
believe
shares?
that, yeah, this is a very good question, but I believe this needs to be discussed in an
Okay.
environment where we truly see and understand that we are, first of all, we are matching in the mission, because our idea with this particular platform to make it impactful product for parents and children. So don't get me wrong, I have nothing against any TikTok or YouTube or Snapchat. Actually, our first deal we made with Snapchat, and we used the Snapchat SDK to implement augmented reality into the book. And I can show you that book is called Fashion Fairy Story. We made a few lenses, and whenever you, through the Snapchat, you read the page of the book, it becomes augmented with the different dresses, with different pieces of the book. So our first partnership we did with the Snapchat. And coming back to the partners and investors who are we're looking for, we want us not to just those investors to see us as a business solution. We are trying to make, and we are making an impactful product for the children, and we want our investors to see it from that perspective.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Ola, is there anything else that you would like to share with us today?
I'd like to show you a lot of pieces that we experimented and what our demo is for the customers, but I think I can send it to you separately, right? And you can add it on.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Ola, where can we find you? Please tell us your all the contact links, the website of YES.fun.
YES.fun is exactly the link, yes.fun. If you put it in your browser, you will find our website. Also, you can find demo on YouTube with our product. And what else? You can find me on LinkedIn with Ola Litkova, and in social media. Yeah, we are doing a lot of work right now with the Coco Studio that I mentioned. We launched this creative digital agency where we help brands and startups to develop design solution and to implement augmented reality into the communication between customer and the product. So cocostudio.agency, that's another website that you can look through and see our nature of our work in web, app solutions, and augmented reality as well.
Ola Litkova, thank you so much for making this happen. Looking forward to see you around. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you everybody for listening today. Please connect with us on the new email that we recently created. startupcorps@gmail, and on our sponsors. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me.